What's the ideal future for Angi Koontu?
I think the ideal scenario for me would be having my brand name to be recognized internationally. Having shows done, having stores everywhere, and going viral online, and uh, minting money, and then also most importantly changing the world at the same time. That is something that I really have in my heart. Like, this is what I want. I feel like the reason why I am here in this life is to be able to change people's perceptions about the fashion industry, and how it's actually you're doing more bad than good. So if I can do that much, if my brand can do that much, that means like that is what the ideal scenario for me is.
But yeah, how's it going?
All good. I mean, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on your page and on this call. And I'm facing my fears right now, so I feel great. So thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you for saying yes and wanting to come on. I truly appreciate it. But before we get started, if you want to let the people know who you are, what you do, any likes and dislikes in everyday life, that can be very simple as, oh, I don't like doing dishes, or oh, I do like doing dishes. Um, and future aspirations in life. Yeah, just anything and
Yeah,
everything you're comfortable sharing about
sure.
yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shivangi, and I am from Dubai, and I'm a fashion designer and a stylist, and I'm currently pursuing this on a freelance basis in Dubai, and my future aspiration is to have my own brand and take it ahead, which is already out there, the Angi Koontu. I'd like to take it out there and grow it, and I see it to be like a full fledged business, like Gucci or Givenchy. Let's see what the future has.
More power to you for taking that step. Why Angi Kuntu? And for those of them who don't know what Angi Kuntu means, could you translate that?
You're the first person to actually pronounce this correct. Like it's such a task, for me to like get everyone like to pronounce this right. Like everyone's like, oh, what is this Agni Kuntu? Or like butcher they just butcher it like completely. And then in
Yeah,
Arabic also I have to like pronounce it properly for them, and like like spell it out for them to like
right.
say it out clearly. But still it's just, anyway, I just let them say whatever. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, but all that matters is that it means something to me, and it's distinct.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what I wanted it to be. That's what I wanted it to stand out as. So it's doing the job. So so that's fine. Yeah. So, oh, okay.
yeah.
So Angi Kuntu actually literally means clothing in Tulu,
Right.
in
In
our mother
Tulu.
tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our mother tongue, Tulu. Yeah. So Angi means clothing, and Kuntu is actually fabric. So, but we usually like in our mother tongue, in our slang, we say Angi Kuntu. So it's like
Hmm.
it goes together.
Hmm.
As simple as that. There's no rocket science to it.
So that was basically the reason why you chose it too, or was that sort of like a way to stand out in some sense?
So while I was, thinking about what I want my brand name to be, so this is actually while I was doing my undergraduate degree in fashion design and pattern making. So I wanted to stay true to myself, but at the same time, I wanted to, be distinct, stand out, and also kind of, keep it simple at the same time. So, and I also didn't want it to, be too like too simple also. So I wanted it to be like a proper hybrid, but like somewhere in the middle, like not too much, not too less, just like well balanced. So I thought Angi Kuntu was the best name, and I also did like a small survey. I went around asking all my French and Italian professors and Arabic friends that, hey, how does this sound to you? Does it sound strange? And everyone said different things. Some people thought it sounded very Japanese. Some thought it was from Australia. And it was very weird, like the survey, the response that I got. So I was like, okay, this has some potential to be a little international. So I just thought that, okay, maybe I should just name it Angi Kuntu, because I know what it means, and it's basically who I am and where I'm from. But at the same time, it's also very distinct, and it has potential, to also be like a brand name. So that's what I thought. That was the thought behind it.
That's beautiful because I guess thinking about it this way, right? Like, um, Dolce and Gabbana didn't like is that Italian?
Yes, they're Italian. Yes, Dolce and Gabbana.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, so they're Italian names, right? Same thing with the other brands out there. They're all like very
Givenchy.
native,
Yes,
right? They're all very native words. Um, so I think sometimes it's very possible to like, oh, but how to do this to like make sure that everybody gets it and all of that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's not about that. Isn't that like kind of like you said? It's a lot of it is about who you are and what you want it to be. So no, that's super cool that you stuck with Angi Kuntu. I'm trying to think how someone must have thought that it was Japanese or Australian.
very.
Um,
It's about how they pronounce it. When they saw it,
mm,
it looks a little strange to them, and they're like, Anji Kuntu. That's how they pronounce it. So
right.
the thing is, they don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks like a
Hmm.
heavy word to them. So
Yeah.
maybe they like, I don't know how people think, but everyone thinks differently. So I think,
Sure.
since it looks heavy and like a little complicated, so they would just assume maybe it's Japanese, like Yoji Yamamoto. 'Cause now we know like how to pronounce his brand name, but someone who would see it for the first time, they wouldn't know how to pronounce it. So, yeah, I think so. I think that's why they thought it
Mm.
was Japanese.
No, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. Um, why fashion design and why that industry?
Good question. I honestly feel like I was just born to do this. Very, very strange, but like when I think ever since I was a kid, like when I was 4 years old itself, I would always like do random things. Like I wouldn't even like I was a designer before I even knew it. Like I was just like 4 or 5, and then I would take my mom's clothes, the dupattas and stuff, and I would make dresses out of them. Like as a kid, I would make dresses for my Barbie dolls and things like that. And then there was just one day, I still remember, I was 8 years old when I made my first dress. It was a scarf dress, and it was so funny because I had no idea about pattern making, or the prerequisites of being a designer or a drafter or anything. So it's crazy how I actually managed to make that dress. It was funny because I just laid the scarf on the floor, I slept over it, and I just outlined my body. It was so funny. And then I just stitched it, just hand sewed it with my, with just a random needle and thread that I had at home. I made a scarf dress. And I was just 8 years old. Yeah. So that's when I think I knew that this is the direction that I need to take. So yeah, that's and ever since then, and even after I graduated from school, I just knew that this is what I want to do. And I knew that this is something that comes very naturally to me. And my mind is just made of these things, anything artsy, craftsy, anything related to design, you name it. So I think I just breathe design and fashion. So if I don't see myself being in any other industry, honestly. And if I would, it would probably be marketing, because right before fashion, actually, uh, I had a detour. I studied business and marketing actually first, and then I pursued fashion design.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't your father also in like the clothing industry,
Yes,
or
he
was
is.
he?
No, he still is. He is.
Right. Was that sort of like an inspiration as well in some sense?
I wasn't really inspired, but I think since I grew
Hmm.
up watching him, cutting, like, always surrounded with like clothing, chalk, scissors, machinery, things like that. Maybe somewhere it did inspire me, but maybe I didn't pay attention to it. But subconsciously, this is something that maybe I wanted to do, but not. It was not intentional at all. Like it was not like, oh, I want to be like I want to have a clothing brand like my daddy one day. Like it was not like intentional, but it just I don't know, maybe it was like you said, like maybe it was in the blood, I guess, since my dad pursued this, so maybe that's why I also inclined towards it probably.
Hmm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, because when you mentioned the fact that you were doing those things at 8, that was sort of the thought I had. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
the chalk was my dad's chalk, the chalk. So basically, a chalk is, for you to outline your patterns and everything on the fabric once you have
mm,
completely finished your patterns to cut and sew. So, yeah.
mm, gotcha. Um, I mean, you also kind of designed our outfits, right? Like when we performed and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes,
So I guess that sort of experience started on much earlier, like you said.
probably. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Uh, what is it like working in the market in Dubai? I guess from a sense of how it is business wise, how it is for an up and coming designer to sort of go through stuff from all of those perspectives.
Well, well, Dubai is a really fantastic place for a person to come and make their life and grow here. But I am not going to sugarcoat it. It is quite challenging, especially for someone from the design industry. It is not easy. I would say it is very, very, very difficult and very challenging, for especially for someone who was born and raised here, and to find something here, it's very challenging because the expectations that the the employers have here, it is just crazy. It's just bogus completely because they expect you to join you for like 4,000 dirham salary, with the kind of education, hours, energy, money that you've put in your education, and to actually like learn, and also the lifestyle here. I mean, it's not possible for someone to live comfortably with 4,000 dirham salary, so it's very challenging. But that being said, there are some companies here who also appreciate talent, and but there are only few. So if you get into them, you're just lucky. Yeah, so it's not easy. I would say it's not easy, but you have to, they say in Hindi, ढूंढने से भगवान भी मिल जाते हैं. So um a translation, if you find hard enough, you will also find God. So if you work hard and you keep faith, you will find what you're looking for.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm just thinking back, like 4,000 in our parents' time was also not a whole lot. So for companies to think that 4,000 would be enough now kind of blows my mind. But I think that's the nature of the market in general, because I feel that even over here, they lowball you a lot. Like there's jobs in some places that still pay $7.25 an hour, which is nothing. Which is nothing. I mean, granted, when I started 6 years back, like working part time on campus at the cafeteria, that's what I started getting paid too.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was. it was manageable because I live in a place that's quite affordable comparatively speaking. But if I was making that same amount of money now, yeah, no, that wouldn't be possible because expenses have gone up so much. And unfortunately, I feel like businesses don't really account for that. They're like, oh, our profit margins, but I understand that side of the. I not understand, but I can. Um, I guess understand is a decent enough word, but yeah, I can see what they're trying to do there. But anyway, um, you before we started recording, you mentioned that you were working full time and now you're trying to get into more freelance. What are some of the major differences of the two?
I mean, the first one, like I said, it's the routine. I mean, everything has its pros and cons. Like, if you would look at it in a positive aspect, you have no routine. So, you have your time. You can, wake up at your own pace, schedule your work at your own pace. If you are a person who likes to work at night, you can just schedule your work in such a way that you start from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. and your work is done because you're paid hourly, and as long as the work is done, you're fine. For someone who doesn't like routine, who doesn't like starting their day at like 8 a.m. and then finishing it by 4:35, for someone like that, freelance is fantastic. It's great. And basically someone who doesn't like to follow routine, it's good. But if you look at it in negative aspect, then it's like routine is also very important. It's kind of like it just helps you discipline yourself, um and when you have boundaries, it really helps you, to give time to other things, that are important as well, like cooking a meal for yourself, or like going to the gym, or these other things, or maybe leisure, like going out at a mall or something, or running errands or anything like that. So yes, I think timing is a routine, and timing, and also respecting boundaries is something that I've noticed that is very different. When you're doing something freelance, when you're doing a project freelance, and when you're working, full time somewhere for a specific hour, like for an 8 hour shift. So yeah, that is one big difference. And yeah, and then the other aspect is, work. At least when you're working full time, you have work every single day, and you're paid a certain amount, a fixed amount. So there's a financial aspect to it as well. You have a monthly income coming to you, and a fixed income is going to come to you every single month. But when it's freelance, sometimes you can receive 6,000, sometimes you can receive no money, and sometimes it's 10,000 per month. It depends. Sometimes if I have bag in like three projects, it's fantastic, I get more money, but it really depends. And there are off seasons, and it's very uncertain in terms of income as well. So there is a lot of uncertainty. But the positive
Hmm.
aspect is you're free. You don't have to. You're not bound in terms of, like, you're not bound by an employer. Like, you can work for someone else as well at the same time, and you're free basically.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, the question sort of I have coming up right now in terms
Mhm.
of like that combination. Would you be able to work full time and do freelance on the side as well, or would the company not allow you to do freelance if you worked for them?
So Dubai has passed a new rule actually. I think last year. We are now allowed to do that. Um,
Hmm.
it is possible. So if you are working somewhere full time, you can also have a part time job. So you on a freelance basis, basically.
So like being
So
self-employed.
yes, exactly. You can be self-employed. Basically, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you have informed your employer, that you're working part-time, it is allowed, and it's on you if you want to be self-employed, or if you want to work somewhere else part-time with multiple employers. That is also an option now for you. But that being said, when you have to really apply it in the real life, it's not easy. you
Sure.
know because when you're working somewhere full time, they have certain expectations from you. you know so to meet those sort of expectations, it's not easy.
Mm. It's hard
Yeah.
to meet expectations in both places, like full time and
Yes.
part time, if you were to
Yes.
do that.
Yes. Because
Mm.
they even though you work there, like you have a fixed hour, 45 hours or 48 hours per week, but they still expect more. They want you to do more, always. Always. It's always like
Mm.
that. Every single company.
Mm, mm, mm. And I guess the other fear that comes, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Mm.
I wonder if the other fear would be that you could possibly take their clientele if you're working by yourself. Is that a fear?
Um, Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So, for example, if someone is a client for the full time, the company that you work full time,
Mm.
could your like employer be worried that through your freelancing business that you could sort of take them to that side and like basically they lose business because
Oh,
you're
of
doing
course. Yes, that's
yeah,
also possible. And that's actually one of the big reasons why they wouldn't want an employee to actually work somewhere else. They'd be like, oh, you're taking away our clients. How dare you? I've had
right.
this so many times. There are so many people who don't say anything. Like they just like work for someone, and then their second job is hush hush, because this happens. It's very natural for them to they're so insecure that they'll take away their projects or their profits, or I don't know what it is about. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. um let's explore this a little further. I'm just intrigued by like start to finish, what does um it look like? Is it like someone placing in order essentially, or how does that work?
So it really depends what you're looking at. Like, for example, if it's a fashion brand, usually, like, it really depends, because there are different types of fashion brands as well. There is luxury ready to wear, and then there is, custom made orders as well, and then there is haute couture. So it really depends. So the kind of industries, so fashion industry has industries within itself. So I think when it comes to ready to wear, what they do is they create samples, because everything is already pre-made, and the client places an order, and you know uh, everything, since everything is pre-made, there's no issues, and then you can just place the order, get the item, and you're done. But when it comes to slow fashion and custom made orders, what happens is that you just create a one piece each of each product. And what how the business works is that the client places the order. So once the order is placed, you the company then creates the order based on the demand. So like, if you place the order, so they know, okay, there is an order quantity of one to be created, and that's how you create the order. And then within how many within a time frame of maybe 3 days or 5 days, 7 days, they deliver the product. So that's how it works. And where I come, like, in terms of designing, so what I do right now is basically I just design the collections for the brands. So I'm at the design stage. So when it comes to developing and production and things like that, so that is a different aspect in itself. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, like in terms of breaking it down, how
Mhm.
things work, right? So would you say ready to wear is sort of like what we buy like at a store,
Yes,
or
exactly.
but in a more specific sense? Like if you go to someone, they already have ready stuff and they'd be buying essentially what you already have.
Yes, exactly. So ready to wear is basically you create a collection, and then order quantity is exactly, the exact order quantity. For example, you have 100 pieces for each style, and then they create everything. It's all pre-made and it's stocked up in the warehouse of the company. And when your client, like someone like us or consumer, will go place the order, and then they just deliver it. So this is online aspect. And then if you go to a store, they have it in front of you, and then you just pick whatever you want. Yes, so that's how it works.
Mm. Uh, I sort of have a few questions. I'll try and boil them down. Um,
Sure, no worries.
you mentioned the production aspect of things.
Hmm.
Do these companies have like an attached production, or do they do the production themselves? The ones that are
So
in Dubai.
So there are both actually. So in Dubai, specifically in Dubai, there are companies who have in-house productions, and there are companies who outsource their production as well. So for example, I can't name brands, but
You don't have to.
yeah. So no, because like I was just going to name a brand. No,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
yeah. So, for example, like okay, so there's a brand. What they do is when I mean in-house production, they have the entire infrastructure ready, internally. Like for example, they have their workshop ready. They have the printing area ready. They have masters, pattern cutters, the human, basically the resources. Everything is in-house, and the designers are in-house. Everything is done and pre-made. And so with this, what happens is that you have more control, and you can fast pace, or you can just there is more control. Basically, you can just do whatever you want, and you can see it very clearly, and it's in front of you. But when you have to outsource production, there are many production houses here in Ajman, in Dubai, in Sharjah. There are so many of them. So outsourcing is basically, brands go to, they have the design pre-made, or sometimes the outsourcing houses, they also design for you. So it really depends what you're looking for. So a brand will go and they'll be like, okay, hey, I have a specific vision, and I want to create a brand. And or some pre-existing brands are like, okay, I have a collection and I want to create so and so. And so what the outsourcing guys will do is they'll be like, okay, they'll give you a timeline, they'll produce the items for you. So first they do sampling. So once you create a sampling, so they do make samples of each style, whatever you need, whatever requirements you have. And then once that's sorted, and once that's approved, then they go on to creating the final product, and the final number of quantity that you require for the specific style. So it's both ways,
Right.
it both work.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but my parents also kind of, I mean, my mom stopped working, but for that area. But my parents also used to work in the garment field, so I kind of remember some stuff.
Oh
I mean, my
really?
dad still does.
Oh, how?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I, that's
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
they used to work. Yeah, so they used to work for a factory. I'm not going to bring up the name of the factory, but they used to work for a factory when I was little, and based on stories my mom tells me, they used to make stuff for like the brands we know over here in America, and I think around the world as well, like Fubu, Jack and Jones. They would even make stuff for like chain shops over here, like Walmart and Target and all of that kind of stuff. But um, eventually, like business sort of, I guess that factory stopped, and then now my dad does his own thing. um, and a lot of the stuff that they get is like my dad gets is through places like Bangladesh and so on. So I was just curious from that sense, like because manufacturing in Dubai can be quite expensive, right, compared
Yes,
to manufacturing in China versus
of
Bangladesh
course.
versus even India for that matter.
Yes.
um, so do people, like, do companies, well, I guess it depends on the brand, right? Do some companies just prefer to have it in house, or are a lot of them phasing into international outsourcing?
Okay, so I feel like the whole point of a brand to go and outsource or create, like the whole point, like the outcome is what they want from the whole entire process is that it has to be what they're looking for. It has to be of premium quality, and exactly what they envisioned. So to achieve that, they don't care how they're going to achieve it. They're just going to find a way where, you know, it just is executed properly. So it doesn't matter if it's in Dubai. If you have the resources, if you have the, the spending power, they can manufacture it in Dubai or they can manufacture it in China. What matters is that, their outcome needs to be exactly what they're looking for. So like you said, there are so many, so many factories in Bangladesh. There's so many factories in Cambodia, Vietnam, Turkey. There are companies that I worked for. We were dealing with suppliers from Turkey because they had superior quality over China and India for that matter. So yeah, so it really depends because there are so many options that we have right now. Yeah.
Right. Um, I guess this is a bit of a tangential question, but the term fast fashion is sort of thrown around, like your Zara's and your H&M's and all, like fast fashion companies that are constantly making stuff and like putting it out there in the market. At least in the US context, I don't know how this applies to Dubai, so maybe you could
It's the same.
elaborate on that a little further. It's the same. Um, but from what I've gathered, it's sort of like style is in season for maybe a certain amount of time and then it's gone. And you kind of hear a lot of stories about how the pace at which they're manufacturing is affecting the systems, it affects the people that are manufacturing all this sort of stuff. And like, there's a lot of, I guess, underlying issues that sort of come up a lot of the times. Um, are people like aware of that the negative impacts of fast fashion in Dubai? I'm curious. Do you know by any chance?
Well, I don't know about the others, but I'm definitely aware. I've been woke since 2017. So, but it's sad. Um, Not many people are aware, but um, good news is that people are caring. People are looking at this as an issue, and they are realizing like, okay, shit, this is getting really out of hand, and this is way too much. And I see much more, positive responses about slow fashion and how they care about you know um, buying from Sheen or buying from, you know, these other fast fashion retailers. So I do see a positive shift, yes, for sure. But I think it's going to take a while for everyone to really shift their mindset. I do see a positive shift. Yes, I'm not denying it, but it's going to take a while and it's going to be slow. But yeah, some
It
people
is headed in that direction.
it is headed in that direction, but it's in like baby steps, very very tiny baby steps. But there is an improvement. So I see that, which is good enough.
Hmm. Which is good, yeah, yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, people pay with their money, right? Or, in
Well,
the sense that, I guess what I was trying to say, yes, they do pay with their money. Such a
yeah.
stupid statement to make.
No, no.
But what I mean by that is, like, at the end of the day, when money is going into something that's, thought something fell down, it fuels the company more, right? Because I guess the argument, and maybe this is like a, negative Nancy sort of argument, but oh, it doesn't matter if one person doesn't go and buy because there's like 100 people going and buying from H&M. But
Yes.
then gradually, when that one becomes
That
10 and
one
20,
person, yes, I completely agree with you. We don't realize, but the little things matter so much. The smallest of change that you make in your lifestyle, you know, it makes a very big impact. It creates a very, and we don't realize it, but it does. So if one person, just imagine if one person stops buying from Zara, um, like for example, you see the things that are happening right now, in terms of like boycotting Zara, boycotting McDonald's, and things like that. I mean, if it was one person, it wouldn't like make a big difference. But see now, like since one, like all of them, just on their own, did whatever they had to do, their own bit, like, they took their small step, and look at the impact that it's created, you know. So imagine if people actually start caring about, what's happening to the environment because of, the impact that they're doing, that the things that they're buying, that things that they don't need, and then they're just disposing it. Like, if they just take care of that one aspect, maybe just buy 2 times a year, and it's not even like too much, it's a small step, that a small change that you need to make in your mindset, and it will create such a big impact. Like, can you imagine, um, like, people like Sheen will not exist, you know if it actually happens, if it actually, if people actually do this, because if everyone gets together and people understand what's going on, and we can see it ourselves, like, Zara, H&M, Starbucks, these guys, they're just like, they're crying for business now. I get like notifications from Starbucks, hey, 50% off, like, please come buy. So it's making a difference. So, in terms of like slow fashion itself, like, so if people actually take a step, it'll actually make a difference for sure.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, because I think the other thing, like from a business sense, that um, slow fashion, I guess, has a challenge of is like advertising and like awareness in the market, right? Because not everybody is aware of these companies, or they would have to put in work to sort of be everywhere, if you will, um, for people to know that this is an option that exists. Because a lot of the times, I guess, because of the commercials we see and the ads we see, that's all we know, right? Like we only know that there's an H&M or a Zara, but we don't know that there's like other brands that are more, um, I guess, uh, nature friendly, customer friendly, all of that kind of stuff. So how is that like the awareness of those brands in Dubai? Because the reason I'm asking that is because over here, for example, I see ads here and there on YouTube about like different companies. Oh, we're, I guess one I'm thinking about is Bombas. It's like a sock making company. But do you know the TV show Shark Tank?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think they're one of those companies that came through Shark
You're on
Tank
Shark Tank.
US.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the guy who started Fubu, Damon John, I think he was the one who sort of like um, bought stake in them and like funded them or whatever those business terms are. But yeah, bringing back to my question, how is this awareness of like the slow fashion brands like building in Dubai? Would you say?
Well, I think Dubai is really, like I said, I said before that in terms of employment, it's really hard to find a job here. But if you want to have your own business, it's great because Dubai is really booming. I see so many small businesses, they're opening up, they're starting up, and they're doing so well. Like, one of the biggest example is the giving movement. They started in COVID in 2020. They're also into, they promote sustainability, they promote, giving, they take care of charity and things like that. They have different foundations. They're more conscious, they're a more conscious brand. So, you know, and they've grown so much in just 4 years. So in terms of like reaching out to people, I think social media is doing a great job. Like, all these slow fashion brands, what they're doing is they're reaching out to everyone on social media. And I think in terms of like advertising and things like that, so I think, yeah, for sure, on Instagram and Facebook, though no one really uses anymore. Sorry, RIP Facebook. But uh, but yeah, I think in terms of like digital marketing, Dubai is pretty good. People are very receptive um, on social media, uh, to brands, to new brands. So I do see a difference. Like, for example, I see a new brand come up and, oh, okay, this is cool. And this is not just my approach. I've seen everyone else also be very open to new brands and slow fashion brands for that matter. But I'll tell you one thing. I think the drawbacks of slow fashion are not reaching out to people. I feel like it is more so to do with um other aspects, because there are other challenges. For example, the infrastructure, in the sense the supply chain, and the way we produce. There is a reason why there are commercial brands out there, and why they're producing so many pieces, and there's a reason why there are more of them and less of the slow fashion brands, because it's actually challenging to run a slow fashion brand. It's not easy, because everything is just a challenge. Like there's like more effort to at literally every single stage, even to produce, even to design. You have to put more mind to it. You have to make sure that your resources are you know are are original and like taken care of, like in the sense, like you can't just go and buy cotton from random shop. You have to make sure that it is the right fabric, and it is not from some place where they have just wasted so much of water. Like it's very important where your resources are sourced from. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not easy to run a slow fashion brand. I think that is a challenge. And I think digital marketing is also, yes, I'm not saying, I'm not denying that it's not a challenge, but I think more so it is to produce just few pieces, and also the price points get really high. So the question is, like a layman, like a basic consumer, like even me, I would think, why shouldn't I buy this white shirt from Zara? I mean, why should I buy this from a slow fashion brand, and why should I not buy it from Zara? It's just for like $40, and this is for like $75. Why should I buy that and not this? So because it's the same, like it's cotton, both are cotton. And why should I just not buy the Zara one? It's cheaper. you know so a normal consumer, like a consumer point of view, they would usually just go for the Zara one. It's true. But see, this is where you have to be very conscious. Like you have to think, if that is cheap, so like a normal person won't think of that. But when you're aware, you will realize that you know it's not sourced properly. Someone is paying the price for that Zara shirt. Maybe it's the supplier, or it is the person who produced it, or the poor laborer who stitched your garment is not paid properly. So that's where the cut is made. you know so I think being aware is very important. And that is the challenge, actually, because since our price points, for any slow fashion brand, if you see, the price points will be much higher than any other regular commercial brand. So I think price point is something that is quite a challenge, I would say.
And like with the slow fashion brands, is like a lot of, they have to be very intentional about the things that they do, and
Yes.
like be it fabric to supplying and where they are, how they get there, all of that kind of stuff. That's based on sort of what you just said. Because yeah, like I hate to sort of put it this way, but kind of bouncing off of something that you said, for a normal person, for a normal consumer out there who has their own worries in life, they're not going to be like, oh, this was made by some kid somewhere in China or Bangladesh. It's $20. It's cheap. I'll
Yeah.
buy it. Yeah, I think in some sense, gradually when like information spreads and kind of like I said, brand awareness spreads around a little more, then people would probably be more inclined to be careful about how they spend their money. So yeah, like you said, it's probably going to take a lot of time. but we'll get there at some point. Uh, what are some things about the fashion industry that you think people don't know?
What are some things about the fashion industry that people don't know? I think there's so much that people don't know. I think
You
people
can
think
spill all
it's
the
like,
beans. Go for it.
I think people just assume that it's all like so chill, like it's super chill. It's so much fun, It's just like eh, it's just like creating a sketch, like just making like some random design, and then voila, the garment is made. This is how people think. They don't realize the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears and the effort it takes. It is crazy. It is really crazy. And the demand is like, if for example, if you work for Zara, they have timelines, like there is only like 10-day timelines. They have designs, and it's produced, these designs are produced in 10 days, and it's running out there, like it's already sent out for production. And to create that in 10 days, it is not easy. It That means that these guys have been working like for hours and hours, to be able to achieve that level of that efficiency, honestly. So I think that's what people don't know about the fast, I mean, not just fast fashion, just fashion industry in general. Like, it's just, I feel like they just take it lightly, like they don't realize that it's actually like you need like a lot of math background also, in the sense, like, for example, if you create a design, you create a gown or a dress or a shirt or whatever, you know you have to have that sense of proportions, and there's a lot of calculations involved while creating and drafting patterns. So it's quite tedious in itself, and it's quite an art form in itself. Yeah, so I think these things people don't really realize. They just see like, oh, it's just a design, it's just an outfit. I feel that because I've gotten that. So people don't realize what it takes. Yeah, and it's quite difficult. People cry a lot. People cry a lot in my industry, and it's very toxic also.
What are kind of like, I mean, based on something you just said, what are some of the stupidest things that you've heard from people about uh, this line of work?
The stupidest things. Stupidest things, I don't know, like I
Or
would.
funny, or it could be anything like funny, stupid, any emotion that's just not normal.
I mean, not funny, but I would say traumatizing.
Okay.
Should I even talk about it? But I don't know.
If you don't want to, it's okay. But
Um, no, nothing. It's just okay. So, like I said, it's very toxic. So, I think toxicity is there in every single industry, but especially because we have so many women in our industry, it gets a little too much. So, I've heard very strange things, and people stealing work is very common. And then they just, so like the superest thing is probably, I would say, like it was funny actually to me, like my own senior stole my work, and she just made it look like it was her work. And then it was so funny, because I don't know what else to, like, it was funny because I literally just gave her the idea. I just advised her, like, hey, why don't you do this with this? And she's like, no, no, no. I was like, listen, why don't you just try this, just try it? And then I didn't listen to her, I just did it myself. And then she saw it, and she was quiet for 20 seconds, and then I didn't understand why she was quiet for 10, 20 seconds, and then suddenly she started talking like it was her thing, her idea. And I just looked at her like, are you joking? Like, I just did it in front of you. Why are you pretending like you did it yourself? So this is very common, very, very common, like people stealing work, and people just they call it driving inspiration from everyone else, but it's basically just stealing work. Yeah. Found
Driving
it-
inspiration.
yeah, I just found it funny, honestly, and I was just like, you know what, it's fine. You can take my idea, but you can't take my brain, so it's okay, I give it to you.
Right. Okay, I was going to be the next question I asked, because I was going to ask. I've heard that in like the content creation space as well, in the sense that, oh, there's always going to be people who try to copy you, who try to steal your stuff, who try to do things the way you do them. But then at the end of the day, they don't know like the source, but you have the source, so you're able to like make those changes and understand how to make those changes. Whereas those copycats essentially don't know what they're doing, because they're just like copying and pasting what they see, but they don't see the work that goes to it behind the scenes.
Yes.
But in the fashion industry, like, does that sort of change? Because with content creation, I mean, I think there is a bit of a difference in the sense that, sure, there is money to be made and all of that kind of stuff, but also from a sense of, a lot of it exists in different forms, like with content and the way it is, on different platforms and so on. So I'm curious, like, but would those like, well, would the impact of someone copying someone else's work be much more heavier in the fashion industry, or am I just making that up?
Well, that is why we have, the legal industry helping us. That is why we have copyrights and, patented rights and, copyright infringements and etc. Because it does affect you, you know, financially, and like it's true. I'm not going to deny it. When someone copies your work, it does affect you a lot, and especially if someone smartly copies you, then it is even more of an issue. So yes, it is a challenge, but having said that, there's nothing you can really do about it. But the only thing you can do is kind of just save yourself, have your have it patented, or like, get your rights to it. If you make a design and if you see potential or whatever it is, just get your copyrights done, and that's what most brands do. But I think the people who suffer the most are, budding designers, like, the fresh ones who are just growing in their field. And what happens is that they look up to these big brands, and or whoever your seniors or whatever, and then but they get vulnerable, and they share their things. And then if they're actually good and nice and talented, which we always are, uh, it's just stolen. What can we do? Can't do anything about it. That's the we suffer the most, I think. The ones who are like growing in their field, in the growing stage. Yeah. The big ones, the big industry giants, they don't really suffer so much, because since they have legal aspects protecting them, they don't really it doesn't really matter to them so much. Yeah.
So it's sort of like you always have to run against that tide of that influence in some sense.
Yes, I know it's sad to say. Like, I remember, I mean, I don't want to name the brand, but it's quite a big brand, uh, very big brand, and I felt like I was like the luckiest girl in the world, to be able to work with them. And yeah, and then just 1 year later, I saw something very similar, a design on their page, and I was like, listen, I wait, that's like what I shared with you guys. I'm confused, and but you can't do anything, because you know you can't do anything. What can you do? You don't have proof, so there's nothing you can do about it. So I mean, the way I deal with it is, like I just said previously, like, you can take my idea, you can take my design, you can't take my brain. It's okay. Give it to you for charity. You can keep it. I'll make new ones. I'll make better ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's sort of like the positive mindset that is
Yeah,
very important to
that's the
have,
only
right, in
way,
this world.
honestly.
Yeah, because if you don't have that outlook, it becomes much more challenging to even like do things
Yes.
on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. No, so more power to you for having that mindset. That's good on you because I can see how it can be very soul crushing and um I guess just upsetting for the lack of a better word. But yeah, if you're able to look at it that way, I mean, kudos to you. Because that doing that itself is quite hard. Like realizing that or accepting it.
My mom, she always tells me that what is yours will never be taken away from you. Will can never be taken away from you. So what is yours, like your due respect, your due money, if someone took away money from you now, if someone took your respect away from you now, whatever it is, anything, what is yours, what is duly yours, you will get it in this life, and you don't have to worry about it at all. So it's okay. That's what I believe in too. I feel like if there is something that is taken away, we feel like it's taken away from us, but that's not true. It's just the course of life that we have to fulfill, and what is meant for us will just divinely, with in divine timing, it'll just happen, and then we're, oh, this happened because this had to happen now, and then we realize, and oh, okay. So yeah, it's fine.
No, yeah, no, that's a very beautiful way to look at it. Because no, I agree. Like sometimes we get so caught up in the present that it's hard to sort of, I guess, get back up again and continue to do things to make sure that you will get there at some point. But yeah, you will get there at some point. Sometimes it's about having faith, and that can be hard too. Like having faith, uh, not to get super deep, but like having faith and like making sure to persevere and all that kind of stuff can be a little challenging. But another sort of curious thought I just had was, do you see yourself like potentially expanding to different markets, or is like the Middle East your main focus right now?
I mean, to be honest with you, right now I am open to all sort of industries because, by the grace of God, um, I like to believe that I can literally make anything. So I feel lucky that I can do literally in any industry, like in terms of ready to wear or sportswear or haute couture. Haute couture is basically making things from hand, and like it's more precise, and there's a lot of embroidery, and a lot of things involved. It's a lot of extra work, more precise work, precision work. So I can, like, I'm very versatile in terms of so it's I'm very open. Like, I don't mind at all to work in ready to wear or Middle Eastern fashion, because right now, so working in UAE, I have been approached by many modest wear brands, because here there are more modest wear brands. Yes, so, and then there are quite a few sustainable fashion brands here as well that are budding. Like I said, there are many of them opening up. Yes, so, but that doesn't limit me to just those kind of sort of brands. Like, I don't mind doing other fields as well. Like, I mean, menswear is something that I really want to explore, because I feel like it is still not reached its potential. I don't know why I feel that, but I just feel like it's because I've I feel bad that, like, why do men only have like tops and bottoms? Like, it sucks. I
Can
mean,
you elaborate on that further?
okay, I don't want to. Okay, I don't want people to cancel me, but I know a lot of men wear skirts. Okay, but why is it not normal? I think a skirt can look so nice. And what about tunics? You know? There are so many different um, pieces that men can wear too. I know it's not normal for people to wear these kind of clothing items, but I just feel like it's still like not reached its potential. There's so much you can do, and I don't mean cross dressing, not at all. Like a man being completely masculine in himself, but like still rocking something, you know like a different piece, not like a shirt or a top or a t-shirt, um and bottoms, like something else, like different. Like, why do only ladies have dresses, things like that? It's a question that I've always had, and it's something that really intrigues me, and it's like a social experiment that I want to do, and I want to see how people really respond to it. Like, can you imagine a world where it was normal for both men and women to wear skirts, and it was
Yeah,
and it looks so like so sexy and divine, like, oh my god, that man's wearing a skirt, wow, that is beautiful. Can you imagine?
I think a lot of it is just conditioning also, right? Like we've grown up knowing that, oh, you're a man, you wear these trousers and you wear this shirt. Every formal event you go to, you're wearing a suit. It's just different colors of suits. So we've sort of been conditioned to be that way, right? Whereas with dressing for women, there's more of a wider spectrum in terms of options and so on, and so forth. Like for example, depending on like the kind of event, it could be a long gown, it could be a short gown, it could be a dress, and but in all of those events, men are probably wearing suits. But I guess just the difference is the shirts are probably different. Maybe they're a little more casual, formal. Anyway, I see what you're saying. But yeah, if you were to ask me right now, and I hope this doesn't get me cancelled, but I don't know if I would want to wear a skirt, in all honesty. But that is just probably conditioning on my part because I've grown up knowing that, oh, skirts are what girls wear. Like, why am I wearing a skirt? And this is in no way throwing shade to anybody who chooses to. Like, absolutely, wear what you want to wear. It's none of my business as long as you're comfortable wearing what you're wearing. And yeah, I guess cross dressing can be a little questionable, but on the flip side, like if you're comfortable wear rocking a skirt, so be it. Who am I to question it? Um, I mean, I won't lie. I'd be lying if I said that I don't sort of do a double take. But then that also sort of is, I guess, fueled by my own conditioning of growing up and thinking of, um, I guess, dresses being a certain way or clothes being a certain way. But I mean, isn't that what it's called, like androgynous styling, or is that different?
I think androgynous fashion is more, it's actually masculine fashion for ladies. So basically, ladies who like to
Oh, okay.
dress uh, more on the masculine side. It's actually like that, but um, I mean, androgyny can be adopted by. It's actually in between. It's like feminine and masculine, very like it's combined together. So, but I usually see women rocking the androgynous sense of style. Um, I mean, yes, that is what it is. But like you said, I want to talk about the conditioning part that you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is so messed up. It has messed up our lives completely. Like our generations, our parents' generations. You know why? I'll tell you. Did you know like heels were actually like produced for men? It was made for men.
Really?
Heels were not worn by women. It was worn by men. Yes. I know it's crazy, right?
Where, like, could you get into that a little further? Like, where
I'll
was
tell you.
this?
Okay, so it's not. I don't know exactly what year, what century, and stuff. But in the
I'll
past, it
find that
was
up. I can put it in
okay.
front as well. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it was actually created for men who, especially when they have to ride horses. So those heels were attached, like on the what do you call it? The where
The
the
heel?
no, the I mean the harness. What is it called? The seat that they sit on. on the over
Okay,
the
okay,
horse.
okay.
So
No idea, but
for
yeah.
it to actually be attached, like to get be like a little fastened, so it gets stuck, like the buckle of, I mean, the heel, the wedge, so it gets stuck. That's why it was produced. So the whole point of the heel was men, and it was also very prestigious. If a man wore heeled shoes, it was a man of, higher class, and it was also for horse riding and stuff like that. uh, that was the whole point of the heel. Actually, it was worn by men, and then I don't know what happened. Then I don't know why men stopped wearing heels and only women wear them now. And the same goes for every other clothing, by the way, every other article of clothing. Even the kurta was actually, it was a man's uh, outfit. Like, it was a man's piece. Women started adapting from that. It was never a woman's clothing. Kurta, I would say, or what do you call it? A tunic. You know, tunics were, mainly worn by men. But now, if you see in Western culture, like, no one wears tunics. Men rarely wear tunics. Um, and what other? Even skirts. You know, men wore skirts all the time. Back in the day, it was normal for men to wear skirts. But now you don't see anyone wearing skirts. Like you said, conditioning. Centuries and years, and all of our uh, ancestors, everyone, they're just like, we've been conditioned to think that, okay, this is not for men and this is only for women. And yeah, it's just sad. It's just, I feel bad for men that they only wear like two types of clothing. Like, isn't that's so bad? Like, why? Like, life is so beautiful and short to like just live in two articles of clothing. So yes, it is something that I really want to explore.
Hmm. What are how would you explore that? If have you thought about that?
I mean, whenever I would, so when I was studying my undergrad course, in every single collection that I would produce, we had like collections to produce every month. So every single collection, there would be a goddamn skirt, and it would be on a man every
Mm,
time.
mm, mm.
Every time. In fact, you remember, you know him, right? My cousin brother. So when I was showcasing my undergrad collection, I had a photo shoot, and the collection that I produced was unisex. So it was made, worn both by men and women. So I made sure that I wore the skirt, and he looked amazing. He looked amazing. He just, like, he rocked it so well. He looked, and then it was not in a feminine way. It was, he looked very masculine. It looked strange. I'm not going to deny, but it was not in a bad way. I would definitely share a picture with you. But he looked so good. I mean, the way he
Mm,
rocked it was just amazing.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, I kept making skirts all the time for men. It's a weird obsession.
No, but I think the one thing that one of my close friends who's been on the podcast, um, I think it, you can wear whatever you want to wear, but when you wear it with confidence, I think that sort of exudes itself a lot more, right? Like, so a
Yes,
man wearing a skirt, well, so say, for example, there's two men wearing a skirt. If one of them is super confident, sure, you're going to bat an eyelid, you're going to think, oh, why, whatever, but that person will exude that confidence. You're not going to think about it that much. But
exactly.
the one who's less confident, because they're gonna like sort of shrink a little, possibly when they're wearing it and all of that kind of stuff. I think people can read that as well, and that can then affect your perception of
That's true.
wearing that way as well. So yeah, like I think while culturally also we are conditioned that way, I think confidence also plays a huge role. Um,
Definitely.
Yeah, because if you believe that you can rock it and that you are rocking it, I think you are. People are not going to be that judgmental. Let me not say that because they're judgmental. People will be judgmental, but
Judgmental
uh,
people, regardless, even if you breathe, they're going to be like, oh, why are you breathing like this?
uh, no, laughing because sometimes I can like in my head be judgment. I'm trying to be better about that, but yeah, like you're gonna have questions. Is all I'm saying. Um,
I know what you mean.
yeah, yeah. Uh, what are some like fashion faux pas? If that's the right word. Um, that you think people should like stop doing right now. It can be as simple as, oh, don't match this color with this color or anything for either side.
By fashion faux pas, what did you say?
Like any things that people shouldn't do, like fashion wise.
To be honest with you, my diplomatic ass would say, you do you, wear whatever the hell you want to wear.
Okay, let me flip it then. What do you not like when you see someone wearing something?
Okay. Oh, what makes me cringe? Okay.
Sure, there we go.
When I see, well, I'm not someone who really judges people, but when I see someone wear like really, like these days, when I see someone wear skinny jeans, it just like brings the out of me. Like my eye twitches. I don't know why. I just have this, and especially when it's on a man, it's just weird. Like it just makes me feel weird. Like I think maybe because I am from the fashion industry, so when someone wears like really fitted, skinny jeans, it just makes me feel weird. uh and what else? I think for ladies, I have this thing. I don't like fishnet stockings. It just looks really disgusting. I just find it weird. Even if you wear it in a nice way, there's no nice way to wear it. First of all,
Gotcha.
it's just weird. Like it's strange. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable when I look at it. But obviously, you do you wear whatever you want. I mean, I'm no one to judge you, but yeah, it just makes me feel very weird. And what else? I think people who wear like really like uh loud, very loud colors. Don't get me wrong, like I personally love colors. I love bright shades. I think it looks really nice. But when you wear like two loud colors together, like bright red and bright orange, or like bright yellow, you look like McDonald's. So like you look like walking McDonald's. So that's just weird. Like it really like makes my eye twitch. um yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm not a person who would really like be like, oh, what are you wearing, kind of thing. I would never do that actually. Even as a designer, I would not like um judge anyone for the way they dress, because I personally like to dress up, like however, like it depends on my mood. Like sometimes I feel like I want to wear like black, so I would only like wear that. There's a phase, I would only wear black all the time. Then sometimes I like to pick the loud colors, but obviously not looking like McDonald's. But yeah, it depends on the mood, so I'm not a person who would look at you like, oh, why are you wearing that printed shirt, you know no, wear whatever you want, you're free. This is what fashion is about. Even it's not about, people make it about trends, but it's actually not about trends. It's
It's
about
about
style.
expression.
Yes, it's about your own expression. It's about what you feel comfortable in. It's about comfort and style. It's about, you know It's about expressing your personality through your clothes. You're telling a
Yeah.
story by wearing a specific outfit. That's it. you know it's not about stupid I don't want to say stupid trends, because you know trends are also what keeps the fashion industry going. you know
Sure.
but there are some things that you really don't need to follow. You don't need to follow certain trends, like only if it you know makes sense to your type of style, like only then adapt to it. Otherwise, it's okay, you can skip it, it's fine. And people are not gonna, like, cancel you. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for example,
To jump.
oh,
Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
yes.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This shirt that I'm wearing, it's actually my mom's. It is, I think, 25 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's probably made, like, I don't know. It's crazy, but I still wear it and it looks fantastic. Uh, I know it looks vintage, but that's the vibe I'm going for, because I think that's something that goes with my style. And but I do follow trends at the same time. Uh, but I like to, stay true to my style as well.
Nice. Nice. The other thing I was actually going to ask you is,
Yes,
you mentioned skinny jeans.
yes.
To sort of expand that a little further, because I'm just intrigued to know for myself. uh, would you say slim jeans are okay versus not okay? And that's the first question. Second question, I mean, I'm not a big fan of skinny jeans, but like a slim fitted chino, I kind of like those. I'll throw that on with a hoodie, uh, and some sneakers. That's during the summer days, a t-shirt and some slim fit chinos. I'm like, okay, cool. Uh, it's not too casual. Like if I'm going to work on campus, or if I have a meeting with a professor, um, you know, but it does the job. So I'm curious, like
I
slim,
think,
skinny.
yeah, there's a difference. Don't worry, you're fine.
Okay.
No, no. I think skinny jeans is what I mean is, those really fitted ones. Like, it really, like, sticks to your legs. Like, it looks horrible. Like, even when it was in fashion, like, I would wear skinny jeans. I would like wearing skinny jeans on a woman, but on a man, I always found it, like, I don't know. I just found it strange looking. Maybe it was my personal choice or what. I don't know. And now, to be honest with you, straight fit pants are, like, more in. Straight fit pants, trousers, jeans, you name it. Everything is very straight fit, very more comfortable, more relaxed. And like you said, slim fit is okay. You're fine. Don't worry. Uh, don't worry about it. But yeah, just avoid wearing skinny. I mean, if you like
No, I
wearing
don't.
skinny jeans, I mean, who am I to stop you? Just do whatever. It's fine.
Mm,
But
no, I'm not a big fan of skinny jeans, but because they feel like they sort of just stick and constrict
exactly,
everything.
exactly. I think that's what I feel when I look at skinny jeans. I feel constrained and, like, weird. Like, when I feel like, why is someone so uncomfortable? Why is someone wanting to wear something that, I personally like more loose fitted clothing. So I think that's why I don't like skinny fit jeans. So jeans or anything, even pants for that matter. So yeah, when I see someone wear that, I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you wearing this and feeling uncomfortable? Isn't it, like,
Yeah,
icky? Like, doesn't it feel icky to you?
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's what it is
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Maybe this is too much information, but I feel like the problem sometimes people might have um, is a sort of ratio of like pant sizes, like waist to thigh ratio. Because that's, I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's kind of the problem I have. Like, so for example, say if I get a size 32, it'll fit my waist, but it won't go up because I have thicker.
It's fine.
So no, I'm not like putting myself down, but I'm saying like I think that's sometimes a struggle. So it's like for me at least, sometimes where I struggle is drawing or like figuring out okay, in terms of pant sizes, because if I go for something a little too loose, it's gonna look very baggy, and I personally find I know baggy clothes are in style, and I do sometimes wear baggy stuff. Um, but it depends. I'm not so into baggy. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I
Okay.
was going with that, but go ahead.
No, but like honestly, in terms of like your struggle, to find the right size of trousers for you, join the club. Join the club because I don't know if you know, but there are so many, like it's something very natural that it's a common thing that we go through, common issue.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've heard that. Yeah, just yeah,
Especially Indian ladies, we have heavy bottoms, so it's not easy to match our waist with our with our size. So I always have to get a bigger size every time. I have to go for a bigger size, and then wear a belt on my waist to actually make it look fitted. But it's always a struggle, or I have to alter it. Um, but that being said, I actually think that straight fit pants would look really nice on you if you have heavy thighs. Because even for me, I pick either. I mean, obviously, I don't think you should wear boot cut because no, don't wear it. Boot cut is
no, I'm not
basically
into
it look
bootcut.
like a
Yeah,
bell, basically bell shaped
right, like bell bottom
trousers.
pants. Yeah.
Yes, bell bottom pants. So on ladies, I mean, I prefer bell bottom pants. I love wearing bell bottom pants. Um, so I wear those. I have no issues. But if you're someone who likes comfort, but at the same time you don't want it to be too baggy, there's no harm in trying a straight fit trouser. Maybe we should just have a try. Like just go and just explore, just experiment, see how it
Maybe
feels.
that's what I should do next. Yeah.
Yeah, try how it feels. Don't go for something that is too loose at the bottom, because then that'll make
That's
you
my thing.
that'll
Yeah.
that'll also shrink you in terms of height as well. So I think that's not something
Yeah.
that you want to go for. I think you should go for something more straight fitted. So it's basically in between your baggy pants and your slim fit. So it's in between that. Maybe you should just have a try because it works for me. It looks good on me. I look taller, in fact, when I go for straight fit. But I notice when I go for something too baggy on the bottom, it makes me like shrink in terms of height. So you should try.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's my sort of thing too. Like, I don't like it when it gets too wide, closer to like the heel. I
Mm,
prefer it for it to be a
straight,
little narrower.
slimmer,
Um, yeah. Yeah. And I generally have the habit of cuffing. Um, the
the hem.
folding. Yeah, the hem. Um, yeah, is that the right word? I know
Yes,
cuffing. I don't know.
the
Okay.
cuff. It's fine.
Um,
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's actually the hem. You're just folding the hem. It's fine.
yeah,
Cuff
yeah.
is actually
So
the cuff that is here. The
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Um, but yeah, no, so I did not intend for this to turn into something about me, but I was just that was
No,
a
of
question
course
I
not.
had, so I
Wesley.
asked.
No, it's about we're having a talk after 16 years. Be my guest. We can talk about anything.
Awesome, awesome. But no, we've been going on for close to an hour and a half. I don't know if
We are, is it?
yeah.
Wow. Okay, it's
Yep. No, I'm
wow.
okay with it. I'm completely fine. But I think we should gradually bring this to a close.
Yes.
Um, let's close with this. Uh, what's and you probably already kind of mentioned this initially, but what's the ideal future for Angi Koontu?
What's the ideal future for Angi Koontu? You want me to go like fully out, like completely out there, like going bogus crazy like,
Whatever you want to share. I'm not going to
or you
limit
want me
you
to be
or.
realistic? Because I can do both.
However, if you want to do both, be my guest.
I mean, the ideal scenario for me would be seeing my brand, like this is me dreaming with my eyes open. So I think the ideal scenario for me would be having my brand name to be recognized internationally, having shows done, having stores everywhere, and going viral online, and uh, minting money, and then also, most importantly, changing the world at the same time. That is something that I really have in my heart. Like, this is what I want. I feel like the reason why I am here in this life is to be able to change people's perceptions about the fashion industry, and how it's actually, you're doing more bad than good. So if I can do that much, if my brand can do that much, that means, like, that is what the ideal scenario for me is. Making money, but spreading awareness at the same time, you know and being like uh, crazy famous. That's what I'm. And yeah, everyone's wearing my brand. Like, I want everyone to wear my brand, and uh talk about it, and be like a legend, live on. That's what I want. That's the ideal
Beautiful.
scenario. That is the ideal scenario.
Sure.
But let's be realistic. You know what? No, this is my realistic dream.
I was about to say, like,
Yeah, this
let's
is my
probably leave it
realistic
at
dream.
the ideal. Yeah, awesome. I think that's a good place to cap this off on. To leave it out there with the ideal scenario of where you want to
Yes.
be. Thank you so much, Shivangi, for getting out of your comfort zone and like coming on and having a chat. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this and for everything that you shared. Um, I know it can be a struggle, like especially if this is not something you're comfortable doing. So thank you, really.
No, really, I really enjoyed speaking to you, and also most importantly, I you made sure that I was comfortable. So kudos to you, and thank you for inviting me. This is something that I always had in mind. But I was just too afraid to do on my own, maybe. So, like I said before we started recording, I think this was divine intervention. So thank you for having me, and good luck to you. What you're doing is just amazing, and I feel so proud to see you achieve so much, and fulfill your dreams bit by bit. And I hope you achieve everything that your heart desires.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. Wishing the same for you as well with your brand and everything else that you aspire to do. Good luck to you as well.
Thank you
And
so much.
yeah, of course, of course. Um, God bless you. And yeah, for those of you watching and listening, thank you so much. We will see you guys next time.